All right.
Sweet. Welcome to the Cymatics show. We have Luca Lush.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here.
I did not think this was going to happen.
Yeah, I am very absent-minded.
Right? The second time somebody's been late because of writing tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Kyle,
yeah.
too. He's like, dude, I'm like, where you at, man? What's the ETA? He's like, I'm writing a banger, man. I'm like, dude.
That was like yesterday. I was like so in the zone, and I just left my phone in the other room. And I mean, it's done now. That's the good part. But
Banger?
like, yeah, it's a slapper.
Yeah,
It's
cool. Yeah, cool. So, dude, well, first off, what made you dye your hair?
It was like I was still living in New York at the time, and the girl I was dating was just like, "Hey, we should dye your hair," and I said, "Okay," because I'm an easygoing guy.
Yeah. That was like some branding tactic or some shit.
I mean, like,
Because I thought about the reason I'm asking is because I was like, man, should I do something? Look, Drew has dreads.
Yeah.
So Drew
those
instantly.
look sick.
Yeah, Drew instantly has like a little bit more swag. He instantly gets 10% more likes because it's fucking Drew. But he's got dreads. You know what I'm saying?
You can quantify it. Like
He also gets Post Malone all the time.
he does look a little bit like Post
Dude,
Malone.
like not even on Instagram especially because like comments just Post Malone gets ton
Yeah.
of likes, but then also on when he goes to festivals and shit, he'll be walking around and they'll be like Post.
Oh
and
my
they'll
God.
say shit all the time.
Does he just take I get ninja all the fucking time. Not as much
you get
now
because of blue hair?
Yeah, since I grew out the beard, I haven't gotten that
That's
as
not
much.
a bad thing though.
thankfully.
Ninja's fucking killing it.
Dude, yeah, but it was just really annoying. But it was kind of funny because I started taking it in a more positive light. So like, it would always be at the airport. So it'd be like, "Yo, Ninja, I'm a huge fan, man."
No,
and I was
like serious?
"Word, yeah, let's take a picture. I'll post it to the gram later."
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, so I was just trolling people. I probably have on my old phone like a compilation, I think, of all of those pictures, and there were a lot.
Oh, so there's a lot where
There
people...
was a lot. Yeah, it was really funny.
Dude,
So,
that happened...
I was a little butthurt. Nobody was like, "Hey, Luca, you should get on this comp."
Dude, you...
I'm the perfect boy for this.
Dude, the last music industry, like we do these like little like networking events, right? Like a party, essentially, a bunch of producers from the city come. Yeah, so we did that one in Atlanta, and it was funny because the first one we did, there's this guy, and he's talking, Drew. He's talking to this guy, and it's like this Indian dude. He's a producer. They're talking, and this other guy comes up to Drew, and he says, "Hey, can I get a picture with you guys?" And Drew's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Stand there." He's like, "No, I want both you guys." And he's like, "Yeah, I want Steven too." And he's pointing to this dude. And I'm like, "Bro, that's not me." I'm like, he's like, "I think you want," and the kid's confused. He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, "Wait, I think you want that guy." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And it's just a goofy thing, man. Oh,
yeah.
no.
It's taking pictures is always a funny thing. I don't even like taking pictures that much, but
Do you go hard on IG? Are you doing IG content?
I don't like
You don't like
I
it?
don't like Instagram.
You like Twitter though, right?
I love Twitter.
Yeah,
oh my
Drew-
god, I live on Twitter.
That's
but
what Drew wrote in the notes. He's like,
Yeah.
dude, he's
my Twitter is popping, but like I've been using Instagram more because I've been dressing better.
Yeah.
So
do you think Twitter's good for artists right now?
I mean, I suppose so. It's been good for me. That's really the only way I can measure it. Unless I guess if we went into the researching it.
It's so fast.
It's great to get. It's so fast. It's really easy to get in touch with people.
So you're in tune with all the beef too. You probably
Oh
see
yeah,
it seconds.
I always know what's going on.
Dude,
with
that's
that.
like Drew. Drew,
Yeah.
the second something happens,
Yeah.
he's like, "Do you see it on Twitter?"
I have stopped. We've grown up. We no longer involve ourselves in the beef, but I will like.
Hop in there. Are you troll online?
I don't. I mean, I shitpost like 1-to-1 with my like more wholesome content.
Well, I think, dude, sometimes artists are too fucking stuck up about their shit
Oh,
looking
I mean, I
perfect.
could go on and on and on about
it. Doesn't
that.
even work that good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
mean, people just see like the one or two examples of it like working really well, like an R.L. Grime or a Porter Robinson, where everything is like super clean and like very tactical and stuff like that. But there are so many other factors that go into that.
look at Cardi B going off twerking. And
Cardi B is
really-
the other end of that,
Yeah.
I suppose, like the opposite, where she's just like, it's whatever goes.
100%.
Which they're both equally valid ways. I kind of would put myself somewhere in the middle of those.
What do you think about the whole cancel culture that is going on?
I mean, I think cancel culture as a whole has good intentions, and like most people's hearts are in the right place. But sometimes I think it defeats the purpose when you come at people so aggressively that they double down on their original probably problematic behavior.
It's kind of like Flash, angry mob. Type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, but I think the goal should be not to crucify these people who, whatever the issue may be that comes up. And I know that's a very broad paintbrush stroke right there. So there are probably instances like where it's like, yeah, that's fucking
Like an R. Kelly.
like an R. Kelly.
Yeah.
That's like kind of cut and dry.
Okay,
to me.
but you know why? Because me and Drew always like study like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But even shit like the whole Zed situation that blew up.
Yeah, that was really funny. I did comment on that. I did.
Oh, you hopped in?
Well,
what was your tweet? What was your tweet?
My first tweet was like, you should like. It was one of those clap tweets, and it was just like, make sure you credit or pay everybody you collaborate with, which is a fucking easy thing to do. But then Zed also came out with his own statement, and and then I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, the truth lies in the middle."
Yeah, but no. So it's kind of the thing that I don't like about it is that like it doesn't matter whatever that first call it is. People take that first
the
call
middle,
out.
the Zed song, the middle. That was the.
Oh,
yeah, it's okay.
Went over.
It wasn't. I'm more of a fan of the early
This
Zed
guy,
stuff.
he's more of a Twitter guy. He's more of a Twitter guy. Doesn't do as well on the podcast. Strike one.
No. I mean, if somebody watched it, it'd be like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
But sorry, I interrupted you about something.
I don't even know what the fuck I was saying.
That's okay.
It's all good.
Anyway, Zed's early stuff. Oh man, his electro phase before he went more pop, which I understand. More people listen to the record.
I mean, it worked. It worked.
I mean, Clarity though is just still a pop.
Yeah,
Clarity's amazing. So,
but I don't ever blame artists for taking that route. You know what I'm saying? Especially look at Chainsmokers, man. Fucking
dude, I mean,
crushed it.
Yeah,
crushed
we
it.
got a collab with him. It was sick.
Yeah, no,
I don't know when it's coming out, but
hopefully
it's
right
done.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, they played it at Ultra. I was like, oh, because we were watching the live stream, and I didn't like. They didn't tell me they were gonna play it or anything. This was like it was like a month before we like got it, and I was like, oh, they probably wouldn't want to put too many. Like I feel like for festival sets, most bigger artists will just play the hits. You know, they will maybe sneak in one of their new tracks, but then the crowd's like. So usually, I wouldn't have been expecting that. That was really nice.
Yeah. Have you ever had some crazy shit happen when you're playing live?
Oh, a lot of things.
What's like a crazy story about?
Oh, a lot of it's drug stuff. I feel like I don't know if
we need one soft story. It doesn't have to be about you. It could be a fan or somebody like acting wild.
I'm trying to remember.
I always try to pull out sauce answers for this one.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some funny ass
one
stories.
time somebody offered me $4,000 to play. I forget what it was. I think it was a Black Eyed Peas song, and this was like at some club in Kansas City, like years ago. And I was just like, you can't pay me enough to like,
bro, I'm playing that too.
Deviate from what I'm doing right now.
That's 2 minutes out of a set though. That's 3 minutes. I would sack that 3.
I didn't care. I mean, like, it was just.
Were they being
serious?
serious?
It was more like, this person has that kind of money to throw away. I was kind of like offended in a way.
Wait, was it? Who was it?
It was just a random girl at this club, and she was trash. And of course, it was her birthday.
Was she being serious though?
She was being
dead serious. It was her birthday, man. You can't play her a Black Eyed Peas song. That's fucked.
Oh, what do you mean it's fucked? Any DJ that you ask, they'd be like, there's a video of like Calvin Harris, somebody coming up to him and being like, hey, can you play something we can dance to? And he like turns off the music. He's like, do you know who I am? Do you know whose show this is? Do you know who like everyone else came to see? This is dance music. And then he like continues playing. So I'm paraphrasing or something. But I mean, I felt bad for the girl in that instance. But also it's like, hey man, like it's not like, a school dance.
100%. Yeah.
So, and like I've worked hard to put together the things I want to share that night.
Yeah, no, totally.
That's all. And I do have an edit of a Black Eyed Peas song somewhere there, but like that was later.
You should have told me that.
Yeah. But I didn't have it at that time. This was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I got a question. I want to go back to your streak of remixes that popped off on SoundCloud.
I
want to talk about like
a beautiful time,
how that affected your career, especially taking advantage of SoundCloud when it was like
when it was popping.
When it was popping. So you want to talk about like how that affected your career?
Yeah, I mean it was just a golden window. I feel like it was a point in time where the music industry hadn't readjusted to the paradigm shift towards streaming, right? Mm-hmm. So SoundCloud existed in this very legal gray area. And I was like, you know what? I'm not getting a record deal. My dad doesn't own a record company. Taylor Swift. But I'll throw a shot. She's never going to respond to me. It doesn't matter. So I was like, the easiest way to garner free publicity and to introduce my style and my music to more people would be to remix these tracks that are already popping off. And I just got really good at bootlegging stuff and EQing out just the vocals and doing like phase cancellation and all this stupid shit to get like a clean acapella or as clean as I could get it, and then putting them in context that people wouldn't like expect. I remember like the one that like really popped off when I moved here was like I flipped like Travis Scott's Antidote, but I turned it into like a like house and future bass kind of thing, and then like a bunch of DJs picked it up and were playing it. Like I got like videos of like Big Gigantic was rinsing. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm still a big fan.
I think that taking advantage of moments of time like that,
yeah.
even with like the gray area, like at the end of the day, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
A lot of them got signed later. That was the cool thing. Yeah, a lot of like we did. I did like a flip of what was it, Panda, Designer Panda, and then we put it out and it did okay. And then all of a sudden, Baywatch team came up like in the emails, and they were like, "Yo, can we get this track for the official soundtrack to Baywatch?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Because they put a lot of money on the line. I'll say how much. $35,000. I was like, "Wow!" Because I'd never seen that kind of money, and I still hadn't seen that kind of money.
No, it's fucking
and
awesome.
then they talked to designers team, and they said he's not getting any of that money. We're not letting that go at all. And the label was like, "Yeah, we're not paying him jack shit." And I was like, "Well, then you're not getting the track because like the instrumental was entirely mine. They, we had the legal ground to stand on there."
Did they want the whole thing?
They wanted the specific version that I did, but with designers' vocals on it.
But they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
They were like, either you get 0 or nothing.
Wouldn't you rather
and I was
take
like,
0?
That's the same thing.
No, you get the branding.
No, I was like, fuck that, because you got to stand up for yourself, man. You can't let people walk over you like that. You have to value your work. Otherwise, people are gonna not value you as a person or as an artist.
But with remixes, I kind of understand. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a bit of gray.
No, well, the instrumental part. That's the thing. 100%. But you're not gonna
at least
still put in the time and the work and the effort to make that. It's like, oh well, then nothing matters, right? Yeah. None of the creative work matters. Don't pay anyone for anything. Fuck it. Let's just that's. Anyway,
are you still doing bootlegs?
No, not really. I mean, like I have some for my live sets and stuff, but we're kind of moving away from that because I think it's like, I don't know, I'm getting older and I have different things I want to say, and definitely I still want like my shows to have this very party atmosphere and stuff. So like those will definitely still appear in live sets and stuff, but it's not going to be like
focus.
It's not going to be the main focus, I don't think, anymore.
So what's the biggest show you've played?
Oh wait, I want to finish that other thing. Oh yeah. So anyway, ended up going on the Baywatch thing though.
It did get
there.
Yeah,
because the guy came back to us and he was like, "Hey, I'll give you $2,000." And I talked to my team.
Designer squad?
No. The guy who was in charge of the soundtrack. Yeah, and he was like, "I'll give you $2,000 under the table if you just like let this go." And I was like, "Okay."
So you did get it.
Yeah, but like for a fraction, they got $35,000 for a sync, and I got 2.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it's all good.
Hey, that was like 2.5 months rent at the time. That was sick.
Yeah.
That was great.
No, for sure. But yeah, so what was the biggest show you've ever played?
What was it? I think it was Doolab at Coachella, probably.
How many people?
I don't know. It was like 3,000 or 4,000 in that crowd, something like that.
Is it ever crazy when you're playing that situation?
When it gets like that, it's kind of like this amorphous blob,
Dude, that's the same answer we keep getting.
Yeah, because it's like you can't. I like the smaller shows. I like shows that's like 300, maybe 500 max, like really tight, really packed.
Yeah, they're right there next to you.
Sweaty ass, basement, warehouse, that kind of shit. And yeah, you can really connect with the people, and it feels more like a party. And I don't really like this whole separation kind of when you have like this gigantic stage, and it's just like you're this tiny person up
there. That's why that slow magic shit is so good. We're talking about. He brings his drum like into the crowd.
I start pits in the crowd. I go out into the crowd a lot.
Do you?
I just do like stuff that I guess most EDM people wouldn't do.
I kind of like that funny guy. Who's that funny guy who's like playing Tomorrow World sets and shit, but he's like a goofball on stage?
You mean my buddy, Little Texas?
Oh, I'm not. Salvador.
That's Salvador. Yeah.
That guy's hilarious.
He dances. I like that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
that's such a creative approach.
Yeah, it's entertainment. Like you can be.
He's a relaxing your butthole guy, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what he did. Like I remember first watching that blowing up. I was like, "What the fuck?"
His dance moves are on a whole nother level. And that song you put out recently through was it Horse? I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good tune.
Have you played around with shit like TikTok yet?
I should. My friend Robbie, he keeps telling me it's time. Like,
well, dude, it's doing some crazy shit. That's
why
I'm asking.
Little Nas was TikTok.
He studied. Right? Well, dude, because you were talking about the bootlegs and stuff. I'm like, dude, TikTok's kind of in that phase where it's like you can take advantage of like some crazy shit.
Oh, well,
like
maybe I'm gonna do that again then. But
Like hop on the pop
Yeah.
trend, like pop culture type
Yeah.
shit, and then throw in a cool song. And
Oh,
then,
that would be sick. Yeah.
dude, my buddy Booty Vogue at Heroic, he's on Hole's manager. He said one of his
Heroic is
acts.
good.
Yeah, he said one of his acts released a song, randomly starts blowing up, like way after they released it, and it turns out that it was like all these girls were doing
Use it
this
on
dance.
TikTok, yeah.
And there was over like 12 million videos made.
I mean, that's the Bauer Harlem Shake phenomenon, right? You know.
It's crazy. I would do more. I think more plays like that is powerful. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do it. I'll take the advice. Good advice when it's thrown at me.
So, how'd you get into production? Like, kind of get first started with music.
So I used to be in like screamo bands, like screamo, like mallcore, hot topic bullshit. You know, I can curse, right? That's cool.
Dude, you can curse as much as you do. We're about to light.
I'm not gonna
We're
use it.
about to light this guy. You can curse on the show.
So yeah, I was in that whole scene. That was very bad. I played drums. I did like singing and screaming and a bunch of other like local bands. And then when I went to college, I got more into, or like towards the end of that, I got a lot more into production and like electronic stuff because I just wanted to make everything myself and not have to worry as much about, you know, band practice.
What are you
crap.
using?
I'm an FL. I'm still an FL, but
Dude,
I use Ableton.
Fuck
too.
yes, bro. There we go. Finally.
Well,
I love FL, dude.
FL's great, but like if I work with somebody else, like
It's
I'll
annoying.
use Ableton. No, like I'll just. Like,
I just
I'm
started.
slower, but like
I just
can
started
use
using
it.
Ableton.
Yeah.
There's piano rolls annoying.
The piano roll is the one thing that really bugs me, but like the MIDI tools kind of make up for it. They're definitely easier to use and more extensive than FL's. Like
I like that you don't have to like make unique every time you want to change like a little thing in Ableton.
that is fucking.
Because the other day I was messing around, I was like, wait, I can just pitch individual like pieces of this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
and you don't have to do the whole thing.
Yeah,
but it's kind of nice also at the same time when you do it like in a pattern clip and then it's the same for every one, and it kind of like I think it's more conducive for dance music.
I think
you know?
FL is fast though.
FL is fast, but everything's fast if you know your hotkeys.
That's true. I
You
used to
know?
play StarCraft.
It's all about your hotkeys.
Yeah,
man.
so
If
I
you
used to
know
play.
everything-
I used to like track my APMs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like when I start like in StarCraft you gotta keep your hands warm, right?
Yeah.
So like while you're doing it, there's certain button things you're doing just to keep your hands warm for the battle.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but like I would do it in FL Studio. Like even if I'm not doing
Yeah.
something, I'm listening. I would like.
It's
do,
all
like-
about being efficient,
Yeah.
definitely. Like minimizing the amount of time that you have to think and actualize what you're thinking, I think is crucial to making music.
So you kind of move quick once you.
I move very quick. Yeah, I have so many. I have like 30 demos right now from when I came off tour and about 10 finished tracks that we're like shopping around.
Damn.
So I've just been writing every day. Like I told you before, like I'm just homebody right now.
Do you think a lot of producers spend too much time like kind of focusing on small detail
Yes,
rather than making
100%.
sure the bigger
100%.
picture is there?
The best tracks are made in like 4 hours.
Dude, I totally. read that,
My
man.
biggest tracks were all done in like 4 to 6 hours. And then the ones that I've spent, and everyone does, you know, sometimes you end up spending too much time on it. You lose, you know, grasp of the original idea or the original
You
inspiration.
can't even hear it sometimes as a
you
creator.
you get too
numb to it.
overstimulated, and you can't make executive decisions about where the track needs to go, what needs to be added, what needs to be taken away, which is almost usually more important. And then it will get like too cluttered, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes a track can like languish for a bit and then you end up putting it out and it does great. That happens too. Or like it gets discovered later, you know, like I was saying about the Panda remix, like that did okay. And then once it was on the soundtrack and everything, it had, you know, like blew up on Spotify. And I was like, oh, cool.
Damn.
That's nice. And my mom was really happy. Because she like
watched
went
the
to go
video?
see the film and she's like, oh, your scene, you know, it's in here. I was like, oh, that's sick.
Do you focus on like the sync deals and stuff, or does that just
No,
happen?
That's
It's just random.
Yeah, that's like out of my control. We have, you know, sometimes it's a label like, you know, Mad Decent does very well with that, for example. But yeah, I wish I knew more about it. I should.
Yeah. I mean, dude, these guys are making a killing.
Yeah, they do.
I remember like.
That's the other reason why I'm trying to move away, though, from just being. And I think I have. People have kind of noticed that being like the king of SoundCloud bootleg world. You know?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, or the prince of SoundCloud. But because you know, if you get a sync deal that comes in for that kind of money, and it was just my original track, and then you know, obviously that would be split between management and business manager and attorney, and then taxed. But you know, I'd still walk away with some money.
artists get chopped pretty hard.
You get chopped up, but it's also like it's kind of necessary. You're running a business. Like
Yeah.
you have to be able to, you know, make other people money too. So they
100%.
want to continue to see you grow.
When you were first getting started, did you have a manager and all that, or were you
No.
just putting shit out?
No, I was just going ham on that, and then slowly, I went through like 3 bad managers, like.
Really?
And then I had one who's more of like a friend, creative consultant type dude. This guy Simon Ang, who is amazing, and that was like the first person I was working with steadily, and like we kind of clicked, saw eye to eye on things that we wanted to happen and stuff, and then slowly started. I went through, got an agent that was on the agency group, and then they signed over to UTA, and then I fired that agent, and then I went over to Spin, and I was working with this guy, Andrew, who manages Whipped Cream and Abstract, I think, now. He's a great guy. I love him. Then we left Spin, Nova Love with Spin, and now we're over with Jake at UTA and Steve Gordon. So, yeah, we've jumped around a lot, and then management-wise, I jumped around another 2 like management teams before. I'm with Vital now, which is like Max is my main guy, and then they do Wobbleland Vital events. They do a bunch of festivals and stuff as well.
The teams can't control your Twitter. It's like,
they try, but they fail.
You're like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
they can't control them.
They can't control me. I'm a WoW cannon or loose cannon. But no, there's been times when Max has, or Max or Allie's, another manager on the team, would text me and be like, "You can't tweet that," and I'm like, "It's fine. It's fine.
The thing is,
we're just
like,
trolling. It's fine."
Dude, people that put out a lot of shit on the internet, like at the end of the day, if you have volume of content, interaction, and stuff, dude, that's gonna help you grow.
Well, and that's the other thing is I'm just having fun, man. At the end of the day, like I'm just trying to have fun with this. I'm blessed that I don't have to work a 9 to 5, but I also have just put in a lot of time and effort to this anyway, so it's not like oh, I'm sitting back and I'm fucking doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's like it's just finding something that doesn't feel like work,
100%.
That's the important part, because you're always if you find something you love, you're never gonna work a day in your life. That's bullshit. You're still gonna be working. It's just, are you gonna enjoy yourself? Are you gonna feel fulfilled by the work that you're doing?
I have to keep reinventing what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Because like for me, it's kind of cool, like running Cymatics. Like, okay, so for example, I might be going super hard at email marketing, Facebook ads, all that shit.
Yeah.
Another day working on a product.
That's a whole rabbit hole. I've like looked at this so
dude,
much.
you got to look Instagram ads.
Fuck Facebook. I hate Facebook.
Well, first off, yes, Facebook likes died. That didn't matter.
That
at
was
all.
a funny period of time where everyone's like,
dude, there was a period where we were abusing like pages that were huge, right?
Yeah.
Like your EDM and stuff. We were using them. Like we'd pay for like a post or something, and then we'd make this viral video style.
Yeah.
And we'd get like 1.8 million views because it was just the organic reach was so nasty, and I missed that time period.
Yeah, and then they were like, we can dick everyone around for money.
So you know what's fucked though?
Yeah.
Is that in a sense I think it's a bit of fraud because Facebook pitched Facebook likes as an optimization for sales, so people are paying money to boost their likes. But it's weird.
They throw it off to like India or somewhere where you didn't have any.
No, you can control that. You can control
because like whenever I used it in the past, because we were like, oh yeah, we need to do that or whatever. I was like, that's stupid. I've given up on Facebook. I barely use it. But I noticed that it would always be like disproportionately like Mexico City, India, and I don't mean like people there. I mean it seemed like it was botted accounts that were artificially inflating the thing.
Let me tell you what's happening. So when you optimize for something like a like, it could be a link click or whatever it is on the back end. You're telling Facebook, give me the cheapest likes, the cheapest link clicks, etc.
There you go.
And the problem is if you don't do location filters, the thing that's going to happen is what's cheaper, an American click for USA versus a third world country or something like that? Instantly, it's only going to be a fourth of a penny there. Yeah. US is going to be 90 cents a click. Makes sense. What it does is if you don't set the targeting right, it'll go there. And so a lot of people, artists and stuff, are saying this is fake. And for example, for Cymatics, I started with $5 a day and like playing with it, and now we spent over $900K.
It just seemed weird to me because a lot of maybe it's changed since I looked at it. And this was a while ago before we had, I think, Allie does most of that marketing kind of stuff like that. But when I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't make sense because they'd have all the default profile picture and stuff, and it would be, Well,
like, it's just, I'm telling you, man, it's just a back. Well, because let me tell you why it's fucking.
I believe you. Yeah. I don't have as much knowledge in this.
Dude, so like the thing I'm going to be doing is like shit like this. So we're talking, right? I grab your best micro clips, right? So the little sections, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like his fans will love this, right? So I take that clip and then I say, hey, I'm going to target fans of Luca Lush. Yeah. And then I also want to say, not only do they have to like him, but they also have to like Native Instruments, Ableton, FL.
These sort of things, yeah.
So then I know they're a producer who likes you.
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna like go after essentially each of the people
Yeah.
and just show them, hey, here's a cool piece, and they're like, what is that full episode? I want to go watch the whole
Yeah,
thing.
makes
And that's
sense.
kind of a cool strategy
Yeah.
using off it. I don't know, interesting shit.
Yeah.
I'd nerd out on that. Like,
No. I'm enjoying listening to you.
Dude,
to talk about
Instagram
it.
swipe up ads. I've
Yeah.
been pitching to everybody. Dude, we're
Yeah,
growing. Like,
those have worked pretty well when we've used them. I will
fucking
say.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we started Instagram probably 8 months ago now.
Yeah.
And we're already at almost 200K.
Sick.
And dude, the swipe up giveaways are fucking like off the
Yeah.
charts good.
That
you
makes
know?
sense.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I want stuff.
Exactly.
I always want stuff. Yeah.
I'll show you some of this shit later. It's
Hell
it's
yeah.
pretty interesting. So what was the first song that like popped and it was like I can't believe this hit X number?
I think it was I did a remix of Bauer's track with the Luna George, One Touch. It was a remix me and this guy Dirty Chocolate did, and like it got picked up by like Run the Trap, and like Odessa reposted it and all this crazy shit, and I was like, wow, I'm a big boy now. Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, it was just cool. Even when I was getting like 1,000 plays, I was like fucking ecstatic. You know, it was just cool that people cared about what I was doing. That's all. You know.
Yeah.
And that I could spread the joy, so
Yeah.
to speak. But also, I've never really had like a super huge, one-off hit, and I'm kind of cool with that right now. I mean, like if I had one, that would be great. But also, I feel like it's more of a, it's like the core. You're just growing like a core group of fans who are very passionate about everything, as opposed to maybe if you have like one breakaway hit. Yes, it exposes you to a lot, but like also. I feel bad when it's like, oh, anyone, they just know like Outkast. Everyone just wants to hear Hey Ya, and they don't want to hear like the deeper cuts, or the casual fan doesn't want to hear some of the deeper cuts. But, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either way, it's all good. Everything's good.
I think too many producers are kind of like looking for like a grand slam and rather than not worried about base hits or shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
More so is that if you're always focused about trying to write a hit and not trying to like convey your individual experience of this life through your music, then you're always gonna kind of miss the mark, because it has to come from like an authentic place, or you have to have really good ghostwriters. There's two options.
That's funny.
So.
So who's the best person you've been in the studio with that's kind of blown you like away in terms of talent?
I don't know. Everyone I've worked with, you can learn something new from anybody, I think. So there's always like little bits and things that I pick up from just, being in the studio. Like Quicks. The way he mixes is just like, it's wonderful. And just like watching him, like the way he would, move certain elements around to make room for other elements in the track, things like that. And then, also just working with super fluid, because he's also on FL. So
is he?
Yeah, so it was just like
Dude,
super easy.
You gotta link me up with all the FL squad.
I think Medicine, Quicks,
Oh, is Medicine
Josh
on there
Pan,
too?
Kid. I don't know if he still is.
Are they from LA?
Medicine lives in Dallas, and Josh Pan lives here, and I don't know where Kid lives.
Wow. Dude, it's crazy how many people live here.
Yeah, most people are out here, which is cool. It makes it easier to hop in sessions,
Dude, it makes it easier to do shit like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it was a nightmare. In Atlanta,
Yeah.
like coordinating all the tour stuff. Here, it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, well, I wasn't in the actual session, like working, but I was watching like Snails and Nightmare work like two years ago. I forget. I was like in the area and I was hanging out with them.
Going
And
ham?
That was when they made that collab, and it was like the early version of that. But just like, they're so fast. I'm like, I think I'm fast, and then I watched that work. I was like, damn, they're moving.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Probably
but it's all about like just like, it's about going with your gut. I realize like if you take too long on any one element, you're just like you're losing that state of flow. You just want to like create as fast as possible. That's what I was saying before. Like as naturally as you can, and not like overthink things.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Do you think that a lot of artists overthink like a release too, like just putting something out? Because a lot of guys.
I mean, that's usually beyond your control when you have this many people involved, right, with management and labels and all that stuff. It's something bigger than yourself at that point. When it was all self-releasing, like when I was like just putting out the bootlegs and stuff, there wasn't much thought into it, but there was like a strategy. It was like, we're gonna make the art like efficiently, and we're going to always have like an idea of when we're gonna post it, and like our squad and the reposts and blah blah blah. Reposts killed SoundCloud though, and
yes, there was a period.
and
where
I helped kill it. I
we would do
take
shit,
responsibility.
too.
But let me defend myself.
we would like hack the shit out of like Artist Union and stuff, like toned in.
That was fine. I think when you're like being like, hey, like if you want to play this track out and you want like the high quality download, like repost it, that's fine. That makes sense. And I think with these certain artist networks, it made sense. When you have like a group of like a dozen or so people, like little collectives and stuff that are all supporting each other and are all pushing like their unique flavor, it makes more sense because there's this kind of mutual like curation going on. So like you're not going to get these management or label push duds where they're like, we're just trying to make money blatantly, and there's no like person behind it that's really trying to express a story or tell something important. So I think that usually with those sort of networks, you had that kind of inbuilt like gate to it, so that there was a quality control element to it.
Yeah.
And then when you had these gigantic, like I get emails all the time still, they're like, hey man, I have like 1.5 million people that we can repost this to, just only two a week, brother. And I'm just like, dude, like, nah.
It doesn't. Well, dude, the thing is that nobody checks their SoundCloud news feed. There's not like
because of that, because I got ruined by that.
Yeah, but in general, like I don't know if a news feed can be that strong, like with just songs, because like you gotta think of the nature of like Twitter or Instagram. It's like a constant dopamine hit of like what's new. But songs aren't doing like that. You can't do that at scale like with songs because you have to kind of deeply listen. It's more like what I'm saying, a deeper activity.
I think that's why, like even iTunes with like the 30-second clip. I mean, usually I can tell a song like if I'm gonna like a song within the first like 5 seconds, or like if I know if it's like doing what it needs to do, like has it fulfilled its purpose? Like obviously, like a deep house song or like a tech house song is going to be mixed very differently than like Lil Yachty or something. But like you can tell whether or not they hit the mark pretty quick.
Yeah, no, 100%. Any artists you're like really digging right now?
Lots. In
what spaces too?
All over the place. Like I'm really having a tip with like lo-fi house, like. So like DJ Boring and like Mall Grab and a lot of these European guys.
Well, I'm a huge lo-fi, and I started listening a little bit lo-fi house too.
Or like even some of the variations that have a bit more like tech, like Katama. And then I've been listening to like a bunch of like Cepha, like Frenchcore and stuff like that. Like Little Texas has showed me like random stuff. I'm just trying to reach really far for like stuff that's new and exciting. Huh? Oh, I mean obviously, but I'm still like.
You a DaBaby fan?
What?
DaBaby?
No. Not really. I mean, I like that. What's that one track? Trip Too Hard? Or
no, that's the Little Baby. There's DaBaby.
Oh, I don't even know DaBaby. That's what
he's a like we like him because he's a character.
Okay, I'll check him out. Yeah. I'm sorry, that was like such a hard no. Like I'm not familiar. But what I really loved recently was Igor, Tyler's album. That was amazing. And his whole swag during the fucking bowl cut and everything. Man, he's been killing it for so long. Like I've been a fan since like Bastard. So a bit more problematic at that time. That stuff would obviously cancel culture. He would get slayed by that now if he was doing that. But
a lot of people would get fucking wrecked.
Oh yeah, I mean their earlier material.
I was watching Wolf on Wall Street, man. I'm like, dude, this would never happen today.
Yeah, even what was that, like 10 years ago, right?
I think it was like 30. He was in the.
No. I mean the movie.
The movie was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that. But.
Oh yeah, the entire kind of culture. Well, I don't know. I'm not a CEO. Yeah. I mean, I guess I am, but of my
not that
of Luca Lush. I'm the CEO of Luca Lush. But damn, yeah, I don't know.
What's the craziest place you've been to? Because you've done a lot of traveling, a lot of shows.
Bangkok was amazing.
Really?
Bangkok is just so crazy. China is so strange, in a good way.
Like
but
culture shock?
Yeah, it's super culture shock. Like because they're just everything. They have their own insulated social networks and stuff. Like,
how do you get in a market like that? Because like, they don't follow you on Instagram or Facebook because they're not on there,
they have mirrors though.
That
so
people engage with.
They will mirror it onto other sites. Like all of my music was uploaded to all their music streaming things. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it. Somebody else is it
coordinated or is it like you're not even?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I'm sure in China running a different version of you.
I'm sure there is a way to do it, and I haven't looked into it yet to coordinate it and to like facilitate that. But I don't know.
I got like 0 website traffic from China. It's like a dark spot. Like Hong Kong, we still do, but like China.
Yeah, well, Hong Kong's about to be wiped off in that regard. But
well, do you see the stuff? Isn't like there's like protests and stuff.
It's
right?
a mess right now. Yeah. So there was an extradition treaty that they were trying to pass, which will allow mainland China to like if you could get shipped off from Hong Kong to mainland China, and then they're just trying to chip away at Hong Kong's autonomy.
Trying to be independent.
Yeah, but technically, when the British gave it up, like it was going to be integrated by I think 2030.
It was like a 70-year deal or some shit.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then did it expire?
They rented it. Yeah, they rented it and then they didn't renew it.
And then so they're giving it back to China, but then Hong Kong's like fuck that.
Yeah, well, because Hong Kong during that time has that's a
Turned
very
into
formula. To its own country essentially. It's like a Singapore almost. Like when you're in a Chinese airport, Hong Kong is like listed under like the international flights.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Some probably will, but China was cool, but like so people chain smoke everywhere.
Really?
Airport, hotel lobby, in the club, everything. Everyone was trying to get me super fucked up.
In Asia?
That was I mean, whatever. But
do you get fucked up on your shows?
After I will, but I don't before because I don't want to fuck up my show, my set. If it's like an afters or something like that, and I'm not like on the clock, like if somebody has paid a ticket to come see me, I'm not going to be fucked up at my show and ruin the experience for them. That's just like.
Some people like to drink a couple brews though, just to.
I'll have like a beer before I go on to like loosen up, and then maybe I'll have a beer while I'm playing. So like, but I never get to like the blackout drunk. But I've seen some people do it, and they can still DJ fine, and I'm impressed. I'm not that guy.
I saw Deadmau5 DJ. He got pretty fucked up when I was.
When was this?
It was this. What was it? So it wasn't even it wasn't a Deadmau5 show advertiser or anything like that. But it was Deadmau5, Steve Duda, I think Steve Angelo. Is that who it was? Ooh. And it was just a Steve Duda birthday party. He was playing.
Oh well, that's different. That's like.
Yeah, I guess it was different.
It wasn't like a looser situation.
Yeah, he wasn't getting paid. It wasn't like the big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like if it's a house party or something like that, like hell yeah, I'm down to have a good time. But that would be.
Are there crazy parties here in LA?
Yeah. I used to be like more doing it live, but not so much anymore because I'm trying to focus on finishing.
Dude, you can't keep up with that lifestyle.
No, I mean like it catches up to you. Like I've definitely slowed down a little bit, like in partying and stuff like that. So, but if anyone who wants to, that's okay. Do your thing. Moderation is key.
I mean, you got to grow out of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, for me, I got it all out of my system, high school. You know what I'm saying? And then now it's cool that
but then imagine
I'm a grandpa now.
Imagine you're going to all these random cities and you don't know anybody and you have social anxiety and you need to drink to get rid of it, and then everyone wants you to do drugs in every city with them and it's free, and all of a sudden you're popular when you were never really popular before, and it's like kind of overwhelming, and then a lot of people get caught up in it and they burn out.
Do you think it's weird that producers are training to be a DJ? And it like they're
What do you mean?
Like producers are going ham at learning production, FL, Ableton Logic, whatever. But then it's weird that once they have success, they're thrown into something that's completely different.
Yeah, they should just DJ parties for fun though. Before, I think both are equally important, and it changes, as you go up the ladder of like what's expected of you and what's allowable in a live setting. Mm-hmm. Like if you're Porter, you can do a live set. People are like, hell yeah. If you're, whoever at a local level, people don't really want to see your live set because they're not familiar with your music. Mm-hmm. They want like more of a party atmosphere and things like that. Yeah, like a good DJ set, generally speaking. So, I'll have one.
That's super interesting. I
might have to.
I think some people kind of get caught up. I mean, a lot of people have like gone downhill in that lifestyle and like didn't make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
Like ruin their careers and stuff. Which it's so tempting when you get when you get like a writer, you know what I'm saying? You get to put all your shit on there and go into places, but I definitely.
I had funny stuff on there.
What's on your writer?
Some funny stuff. Now it's pretty benign. I have like Smash. I have like if anyone has a cat or small animal, please bring to the but no one's brought it yet. But I was like, brings like N64 or GameCube. I think it says on there. But Smash, like. It hasn't happened, but like when it does, and then like I always put 3 socks, and people are like, "Why 3 socks?" And it's just to see if somebody read the writer or not.
Where did I hear that before?
Yeah.
I was like,
the people ought to put like, but also because I have so many pairs of socks where I've lost 1 sock, I just lose socks like it's my fucking job.
Dude, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, But socks are invaluable on the road. Having a fresh pair of socks, man, makes you feel so good. Like, dude, you're a happy man after you get a
sometimes
fresh
artists
pair
are
of
savages,
socks.
man. When they're touring, man, they ain't got much in terms of clothing, and there's no place to wash them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
People are always asking, like, can I clean your clothes or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you get like a nice Airbnb where they have like a washer dryer, that's sick.
Speaking of which, Alex, we're on tour. I think we got to wash our clothes. I didn't even think about that because we're going straight to Orlando, then to Miami.
Oh yeah.
Land and then back up to New
York. You guys
York.
are swanking out in here. It's a very nice place.
Oh, this place?
Yeah, you guys have a washer dryer here in the Airbnb, I imagine, right?
Do we? Yeah, I think you have one downstairs. Yeah.
Looks like it.
Dude, so our logic is it's kind of cool because I mean it's like instead of renting a studio and going to drive to one and getting a hotel, it's like, dude, just get the Airbnb, set up all the shit, and do all your work there.
Also, I like Airbnbs more because I mean there are definitely people that are doing it kind of on a business level for sure, but like it's not like a Comfort Inn or even the fucking Hilton. I hate staying at the Hilton.
What's wrong with it?
I just hate that it's the same thing in different cities. It like robs it of its personality.
At least you got shit like towels, man. I'm looking for towels here.
We'll take what we can get. But and you always need a towel.
Dude, who was it?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, baby.
I forget who was it came on the podcast. They like said something funny. They were like, dude, there was probably a bunch of porno shot here because we're in LA. And I'm
Hell yeah, man.
And I'm thinking like, no, like I've been laying on the couch, like what?
I think they might have cleaned it before then.
You say that, man.
But you know,
this kind of place, dude, is probably people probably rent it for crazy.
Hey, you know, maybe she was famous, and that fame will just, you know, rub off on you.
I guess. I'll pass on that one.
I think for a while they moved stuff, right? I don't know if they were shooting the Valley anymore because of like condom laws or something.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Crazy shit.
I have a few friends in that world, but I haven't really asked
LA.
too much, huh?
Yeah, I heard it's rampant in LA. Are there certain spots?
Yeah. I assume so. There are a lot of porn stars that live here.
Dude, I had a friend who had a track blow up because it was on like a porno video with like a couple mil.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious.
That's a good way to happen.
Yeah, he was like, dude, yeah. He's like, yeah, my shit was blowing up.
Was it like a smooth jazz kind of like classic porno?
I mean, it was like a chill song, like a chill wave type song. So
whenever I think of that, like what music do I want to hear in this situation? And it's usually like something like 70s chill wave, like something chill.
Not your future bass.
I don't want to hear my own music out of porn because I make rave shit basically now, you know. So that would be too intense.
It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, but no, I love this place, man. Like chilling here, like it's almost like surreal. People are like jelly because we're posting fucking.
Hell yeah.
Alex over there getting the drone shots.
I was like, wow, this is a nice spot.
Yeah. And I've noticed everybody has that reaction when they come here.
Well, yeah, that means it's a nice spot.
Yeah, it's not like Cymatics is. It's not like we bought these houses. I mean, it's just fucking Airbnb for.
I should have said that.
Yeah. It's just
flex. Oh yeah, we purchased this. How?
What's up?
With cash.
What's up, guys? I'm just chilling here in the my new house. My new crib. But you know what I like better than this crib? Books.
I do like books.
You like books?
Yeah, I haven't been reading as much, but I got a Kindle recently, so I'm trying to catch up on stuff.
What's some of your top books?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mentioned that before. And that's like.
What is that about?
You're not familiar? Well, you got turned into a movie a while ago, but the movie was not.
I think I heard about the movie, but I didn't know it was a book.
It's a really great, like, dry British science fiction humor series, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's about this guy who. He's on Earth, and his life is like, whatever. And then Earth is about to be demolished for an intergalactic superhighway, and one of his friends, who he's known for a while and thought was just a normal person, is actually an alien. And he's like, we got to get out of here. And they dip, and he goes on an adventure throughout the galaxy. And it's just a lot of bullshit, a lot of funny shit.
So you like fiction?
Dry. I do like fiction, but I also love history. Like I love like.
Dude, I'm a big history person.
Yeah,
like what kind of you like history books? Or?
I mean, I like when I was a kid, like I would always watch the History Channel, and then like also Animal Planet.
So who's dude, I've gone on bear ventures, like bear attacks and crazy shit.
Wait, you got attacked by a bear?
No. I'm talking. I would watch like. Binge.
Oh yeah.
Like I binge weird animal things like that. Yeah. And I'll watch
animals. I love animals. So fascinated.
Dude, I always joke like, dude, there's a mountain lion going to pop up out here in Cali.
Well, I watched this video the other day, and there's a Russian guy who keeps a pet puma. Mountain lion.
I think I saw that video.
Yeah, he raised it from. The thing with all of these crazy, like you'll see people with these exotic animals, and it's very hard to take care of them because, we don't know as much about a lot of those animals, also, and you have to get like a specific doctor and et cetera.
Plus, if he gets upset,
No, that's not an issue. If you raise it, the way that you can raise an animal
I have a cat
like
that'll
that,
fuck me up sometimes. You don't like she gets upset and fuck. Yeah, like you don't think a bigger one will have a bad day and just give you a swipe?
if you raise it from like being a cub and it looks at you as like a parental figure, then probably not. I mean, people have had some issues, but you just gotta respect the animals. Like I have 2 cats, and one of them I raised from. Well, he was like that big. Ah, man, I love that guy. Yeah, but I play fight with him sometimes. But I know
I'm
you
still
know
messed.
him,
Yeah.
and you know like
I do
what
that
you
shit
can
where
push
I
and
grab
what
their
you
head
can't.
and fuck
Yeah,
her
you
off.
know.
No, it's funny.
The back of the neck is how the mothers pick them up when they're kittens, and they still have that. So if you pick them up, they like freeze up. They're like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
I only do that when he's like on the counter or he fucking
Dude,
he eats anything.
They won't stop getting on the counter, bro. There's nothing.
I hiss at them, and that usually gets them off. I go like, and they dip off.
Okay, so I can weirdly understand the language of my cats.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain, the meows.
Yeah,
You know
they're
what I'm saying?
different for each cat, but they're
But
you know what
learn,
they mean.
You can learn your cat's like meows.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah.
hungry or if it's like stuck somewhere or something that makes some goofy ass like cry or something.
Yeah, that one is like the wow.
Yes, that's the one. People think I'm crazy if I imitated him, but I swear, like I know.
Both of my cats have done that one. If they're like they think I'm not home or something, or they're like lonely, or like they got stuck in something and can't get out. Yeah, it's like a wow.
Wait, so who are some people in history that you like think are dope? Because I have some people too. I'm gonna bring up.
Oh man, there was this guy. What is it? Mirides? I read this thing on him the other day, but he was like a king of Pontus, which is like a kingdom that's would be now, I guess, in the northern part of modern day Turkey. And this guy was this was during the Roman times, and they had expanded to like the borders of Pontus, and he was supposed to be, to succeed the throne, and his mom was trying to poison him and kidnap him, and there were people like that were going to kill him, and so he dipped to the countryside, and he made it his mission to learn as much about toxology and like toxicity as he could, and so he started slowly ingesting a ton of different poisons that were known to be harmful at the time to build up a tolerance. And while he was also doing this, he was like visiting all the small towns and getting the support of the people, the peasants, and learning from like the local doctors and things like that what plants here were like good for this and that and blah blah. And so he comes back a few years later with all this knowledge and public support and an army, and he takes the throne for himself. And then once he controls the country, he starts investing in all of these doctors and stuff that he's met along the way to become researchers to create all of these like poisons and stuff that he would ingest to become healthier, to increase his immunity to all these things. And then people were like, it became like a snake oil like down the line, where people like were like, oh, this is the original formula of the stuff that he took, but it wasn't, but he eventually lost to the Romans. But it was like an interesting story. I mean, that's just one thing I heard recently. There's so many like, history is really interesting to me because it's a bunch of like stories that you can learn something from, no matter like what it was, and history always fucking repeats itself in some fashion or form. Like humans haven't changed that much in the last 2,000 years, where you can like be like, okay, you can see people's vanity, like is their downfall, like for example, this happened so many times, or like, people
Empire getting too big.
Yeah, that sort of thing, or even like fucking what's his name? Freud, he like died in great pain because he was a cocaine addict, and he just abused cocaine so thoroughly. He had an incredibly painful death, even though people just remember him for like, Oedipus complex and all that weird shit, like psychological stuff. Like, if you look at like other, even just individual figures will have very interesting backstories to them, and like learning about their lives and stuff has always been kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah, dude. Have you ever looked into like Genghis Khan?
Oh, Genghis Khan is a crazy. Amazing, but also Genghis Khan said at one point that he took no greater pleasure than seeing his enemies slaughtered and seeing what they love taken from their very eyes, something like that. And I was like, okay, word.
Okay, so he's obviously, not the best guy, but like a lot of people are killing a lot of people back in the day when they were conquering. Like,
well,
if you look at
but to say that on record and not be like, well, this is a means to an end, and try to positively spin it. Like, he didn't give a shit.
This is forever ago, though. But
it's like relatively forever ago, but like in the time span of human existence, in the time span of like the existence of the earth, it's a blink of an eye.
But his empire he got from being just a regular villager dude to like.
Well, it's because people tried to fuck him up, and then he was like, I'm gonna take this shit in my own hands, and then he united all the disparate Mongol clans And then he was like, let's go one further. The cool things, though, in terms of a military strategist, that guy was fucking genius.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one story? I forget what city it was, but he was besieging a city, and they had run out of, or they didn't have artillery or any like siege equipment to like take it. So they were just trying to starve it out, but it was taking too long. And so he ended up tying like burnt, like, what would you call, like, what would be the material that stays lit on the end of a torch? I forget what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, anyway, he would tie that to pigeons, to carrier pigeons, and they would fly into the city with it, and then they lit the city on fire.
And that worked?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was crazy. Like, things like that. And I'm like, wow, like, I wouldn't even thought of that. Like,
dude,
you know.
Even the way his army moved, it like moved, they were like wide.
Well, yeah, but having a cavalry-based army also was a huge
Could you imagine
advantage.
dealing with that, though? Like, you see that
people
coming?
couldn't. You know, it was like, if you're like, even in like in China, or northern China, like where, you know, a lot of the military was based more like in tight formations, right? Mm-hmm. Like cavalry was a portion, but nowhere near the sort of makeup that the Mongols had, where it was like entirely cavalry based. Yeah. And everyone, the Mongols are such like, or they were, I guess now it's like a different country, right? So it's still related, but like so hardy, man. People living in the steppes, that's like fucking tough. There is not shit out there.
Dude,
like,
it's impressive how much you know about history.
I know a lot of stuff about random stuff. If there was a fucking DJ Jeopardy, an EDM Jeopardy, I would be the dark horse of that one. I would come in and slay that for charity.
Yeah, dude, we're going to have to host Jeopardy next time we're here.
I'll hop on.
And I'll be like, where's Luca Lush? He's like, I'm making a banger. I'm sorry.
No, put on my glasses. Now I'm Professor Lush Daddy here.
All right, so get back on production. What's
yeah, that's what people really want to hear. They don't want to hear that.
Bro, this is the Cymatics show goes wherever it wants to go.
Hell
you know what I'm saying? The stories we've already had this week are just go all over the place.
Hell yeah.
I mean, dude, Leah was here talking about a shooting she was involved in when she first moved to LA for like 20 minutes.
I got choked out by a meth head when the first year I was here.
What?
Yeah, this guy, I was like walking to get a haircut, and I was still smoking cigarettes at the time, and so I had one. I was, doing my thing. I was chilling. Things were fine. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so the sun's just going down. I think it was in the middle of winter. And I saw this guy. He kind of had shaggy hair. He had like just long white shirt on, and he was chilling there. But he was also smoking a cigarette, so I gave him that nod of like, hey, we're in solidarity. We're doing something dumb, but me, you, we're together on this one, right? Yeah. I was just like, yeah. And he gave me one of these weirder nods. And I didn't really think anything. I keep walking, and then from behind me, I hear the guy like scream and like a broken thing. He's like, "You fuck with my brother, homie!" And then he grabbed me by the neck and threw me on the hood of the car, and it's just as hard as he can. And I'm like, can't even talk. I'm confused. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then like I'm starting to get tunnel vision. There were like 5 people on the street too. No one did anything. That kind of pissed me off. No one even said anything. That was a weird thing.
You were by yourself?
Yeah, it was just. I grew up in New York, so I'm like used to walking around, but I guess I just didn't have my head on a swivel. And that was like, in New York, like I'm used to, I know what signs to look for and everything like that, but I just wasn't paying attention.
And this dude's just a random dude.
He must have been on meth or maybe, PCP or some sort of hallucinogenic psychosis state, because like it was just completely unprovoked, basically. And he might have mistaken me for someone else. And anyway, so I'm getting like tunnel vision here, because like I can't breathe. And I get like an adrenaline rush, and I like roll us from the hood of the car into like this 4-lane street, and a bunch of cars like swerve out of the way. But like when we fall, like he like loses his grip a bit, and I like get free, and then I just sprint. And this guy chased me for 5 blocks, screaming his fucking head off, like bloody murder. It was very scary. And then I hopped into a moving taxi. It was crazy. And then I called my dad.
You didn't call the police?
What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, he was like, you should call the police, and I did. And they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit.
Did he try to get in the cab?
No, because this was like I used to run track. I had gotten a good like maybe half a block on him at this point. So
damn.
But
wait, was the cab driver freaked out?
Yeah, I was a little confused. No, when I say moving, the guy was going maybe like 10. He was like getting off the line. from the, I like ran through the intersection.
Damn,
jumped
bro,
out.
some crazy shit.
Yeah,
man.
it was very traumatic. I did go to some therapy for it, so now I can talk about it. It was just very shocking, and it was like totally unprovoked, and like I'm still very paranoid when I walk around now. Like I'm very cautious.
It's kind of fucked, man. I mean, not kind of fucked. Do you remember the knockout game? People were just literally walking.
Oh yeah, in Australia it was a big problem too.
Really?
Yeah, that was partially for a lot of those new lockout laws. Is there was a lot of like very bad publicity things where people would come up and try to like sucker punch you, and it was like a thing.
I saw somebody did to like a grandma, and I'm like, dude, what? Yeah. Like, dude, I think that's straight psychopath. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know what they say? I think it's a good point for this is, you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. And that's like a philosophy I try to live by.
Dude, please explain that one.
So I thought you were going to
completely.
No. You pick your friends, right? You choose who you hang out, choose who you associate with. You can pick your nose. You can do whatever you want that affects you and just you. But when you interfere with other people and their personal space and their personal lives and their well-being, that's where you should not, essentially.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense, though.
Obviously, sometimes what you do does impact other people and you can't help it, but in the areas where you can. Like, you shouldn't maliciously go after somebody and try to cause them bodily harm.
Was this like a sketch part of town?
No, not really. I mean, I guess it was on Virgil Avenue.
So no one ever caught him or anything?
No. I called it. The cops came and like...
he ran or something?
No. I mean, I had taken the cab back to my house, which was like a few blocks from there, and I told them where it happened, and I was like, he's probably still there. Like, he seemed like he lived there or whatever, and they're like, yeah, blah, blah. And then I think it was like a year and a half later, they mailed me and were like, hey, we might have somebody, blah, blah. And at this point, I'm like amazed at the incompetence of the entire organization that I imagine that they don't have like even two-way glass there. I'm going to go there and the guy's going to ID me. And then as soon as he gets out, he's going to bring his whole posse and fuck me up. Like he didn't finish me off the first time. I don't know. I didn't go in. I was like, this was all going through my head. I was just like, I can't believe that it's just like nothing happened at all. Crazy shit. Not even like from like a point of like personal vengeance or anything like that. More for like fear that somebody else was gonna get into that situation, or maybe he did fuck other people up in a worse way where they didn't like get away. Anyway,
it sucks to
this is
man.
when it's whatever. We're fine now. Life continues, man.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
And
could have been worse. My dad got.
It can always be worse.
My dad in LA. Now the thing about my dad used to tell a story all the time. I'm not sure if it was Atlanta or LA. But, dude, he got stabbed in the back.
Dude, what?
Yeah, it was like this gang. And essentially, like, they were robbing him. And he asked for his wallet. And he was, like, taking off. And he didn't even know he got stabbed. Like, they were trying to, like, wrestle him down. Yeah. He gets up, keeps running. The guy, like, I guess this little guy keeps jumping on him or something. Yeah. Finally, he gets to, like, a Ben & Jerry's. And he got away from them. And all of a sudden, he feels something hot in his back. And he got stabbed.
Oh, shit.
And it's just, like, bleeding.
Where was it, lower or upper? Because like you got a lot
upper,
of
but it missed. I think it missed. Like
because
something
lower back you got a lot of the essentials.
Yeah.
But upper back, you might just like hit a bone or something, or you might miss the top. Even if you get a punctured lung, you can live through that and you can recover through that. But like
so much about this shit.
I just have a lot of like. I don't know.
Googling obsessions?
YouTube
obsessions?
I do Wikipedia and Google everything all the time. Like so I constantly am like I'll just be walking around and something like a lot of people are like, oh, you're just on your phone checking Instagram or Twitter sometimes. But a lot of times I'm on my phone because I saw something interesting and I want to know more about what's going on.
Dude, I binge stuff just like you.
Yeah.
I do
Wikipedia surf that you get in, like, you're like, oh, wow, I just, like, the other day, we went to Second Skies Fest. So, Porter's thing, amazing. G. Jones, the future of bass music, fantastic, phenomenal. Cashmere Cat, a wonderful set. Even played a hardstyle song. I was like, what?
Wait, Cashmere Cat?
Yeah, Cashmere Cat.
Is he still putting out stuff?
I mean, Mirror Maru is a fucking classic, right?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful piece of work.
I love Wedding Bells.
Wedding Bells is amazing.
Dude, I used to love
I think he's doing more back-end stuff now.
I bet you he's writing records or something,
That's
right?
probably why. He's
probably
a very
doing it for like Kanye or something. I remember he had some collabs with some bigger...
I mean, he's just a really good musician.
Yeah.
Really
interesting
good
sound, too.
And his live sets are still really good. They're still really tight. I remember seeing him 4 years ago and was blown away, and he was still very good. And then Madeon was very good. I liked it. It wasn't like as out of the I knew more of what I was getting with that set, but he delivered. And then Porter's live set is still fucking amazing. I gotta stop here.
No, I saw him at Tomorrow World. It's fucking.
He deserves the accolades for that entire, and even
Language
love
is like
Self.
one of the best songs ever.
Language is a masterpiece. Unison, even from the Spitfire EP, was like that first.
I'm gonna jam to Language after
melodic
this.
genius. He's just his melodies and his chords and the way
sound design
he places everything. I would say more is his melodic composition for me than his sound design is the when I look at somebody like Messiah.
But it's real clean though.
It's all Worlds is kind of messy actually.
I mean, not clean. It just sounds like it's still well mixed.
It's tailored to exactly what it needs to do. If we're talking about sound design in terms of putting together a record that feels incredibly cohesive, he's a god. Yeah. If we're talking about like complexity where I can't even figure out trying to reverse engineer a bass sound back until years later.
Yeah.
Messiah, or like people in like the very drum and bass type. Yeah, I mean, effectiveness versus it's almost like I would say that corner of sound design is more akin to the jazz of the electronic world, where it's very complicated for the sake of being complicated, and there's almost no wrong way to do it. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Like there's so many combinations. You can throw so many ways to manipulate just if you started with just like a saw wave at like C1. Yeah. And then you turn it into this gnarly fucking mess of a sound, this burly boy, this thick boy. But then at the same time, somebody can write something on just, a piano, and that's the only instrument, and it can have, an extreme emotional impact, but it doesn't have the technicalities or the intricacies of that other thick boy sound that we previously got. But most people won't care, It's a small subset, I think, of people that are really passionate about the incredibly complex sound design as opposed to sound design that is unique, that is maybe novel, and catches your ear due to the composition of it, which is more, I'd say, Porter lies in that space. His early work leaned kind of in the middle, I guess, of that. Mm-hmm. The Complextro shit was definitely a bit more of that, producer flair, that technicality. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I love to delve into that. I love to delve into that stuff. Like,
one of my favorite genres is lo-fi right now.
Lo-fi is cool because it strips away all that, and it's just about the song.
It's not even about the artist because it's sitting in a mix. All of them are sitting in these giant mixes, live streams, and everything like that.
I'm thinking of more people that are actually putting them together. That's why I was like, or like another good. I guess it's kind of even moving outside of that, but like Ross from Friends and stuff like that. Talking about Mall Grab before, talking about who's that guy? Collabs with Ludes. There's a lot of stuff in that scene that I'm really into lately, even though it's very removed from my EDM rave world.
Yeah.
But I still really fuck with it, and I want to do more sets that are like curated in that way, or I'm even thinking about just putting out some series that like just tackle different genres and stuff, because a lot of people know me for being very multifaceted in the sounds I choose and the genres I tackle and the tempos and the fucking amount of songs that I cram into like a 60-minute set. So I don't think it's actually that far removed from.
Yeah. Are you? Do you feel pressured to come out with certain genres sometimes?
Not anymore. Not really. I mean, overarchingly, sometimes I forget about the original idea that I had when starting this project, which was to make music that would work as well as it would on a dance floor as it would at home or in the car, in a context where that there would still be these melodic contours and emotional moments, shall we say, that move around these more dancey, clubby parts that are obviously more minimal in terms of even the melodies and stuff. Like a good ignorant melody that's like 3 notes, sometimes 2. Hell, Fisher's Losing It is like a total of 4 notes, right? For the entire, including the like refrain bit where it's like the da 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 that. But the rest of it is just what, G and G sharp or something. That was like the biggest house track of last year. So like there's something to be said for minimalism and simplicity as well.
So what do you think like newer producers should take away in terms of like maybe getting better at some of that stuff? Because I think they're the
just study, man. It's all about studying the greats, studying the styles you wanna take on, and studying a wide breadths of styles. I will take apart lo-fi tracks sometimes. I will take apart the new Kill the Noise track too, and try to redesign those basses and things like that. Jake, great guy. Very nice. Very, like, I've talked to a few times, and I was like, wow, when somebody that,
Everybody's usually
well-known
pretty
in the
nice.
game.
Everybody's
No.
mad. Oh shit.
That's a nah. Some people are stuck up. Some people are conceited.
I've met a lot of people so far who've been nice.
Yeah. Well, honestly, being nice is the bare fucking minimum that you should do.
Yeah.
Like,
Just being nice.
you should be nice. I won't call any names, but you run into some people that definitely. Sometimes I will even say it's not even the really big guys. It's people that are smaller that have these disproportionately large egos about what they're doing. Yeah. I'm like, you're an artist. You're doing this hopefully because you love it and hopefully because you want other people to enjoy and forget, and maybe some element of escapism, maybe some element of storytelling. But at the underlying part of it is a passion, right? Whatever that may be, whatever your end goal is. So why, when you get the opportunity to do something that is so fulfilling, do you need to think that you're better than everyone else that you're providing for? Because without them, you wouldn't be able to do it. Dude, without a fan supporting you to monetarily, whatever, what are you doing? Without people to consume or to share the art with, there is nothing. Mm-hmm. So when people cop an attitude, I'm like, dude, it's fucking dance music. Sit the fuck down. Like, chill.
Yeah, dude. It's like, also like, think about like the perspective they're in. Like, you're sitting there constantly getting people coming up to you being like, riding your dick pretty much. And that nonstop, I think, gets people's head. And
yeah, but like, I don't know. I try to remove myself like one step from it. Like, I am not Luca Lush. Luca Lush is the character I put on when I play my shows, when I make my music. Uh-huh. But when you think of it that way, then you're just like, yeah, because I still fangirl over lots of artists, even people that I know.
Popped up Soul Magic came. I was like,
yeah, dude, I love Soul Magic.
Yeah, he was just
and
here
like,
yesterday.
I think it's important to stay interested in what your peers and other people are doing, and like, when you start looking at it from the quickest way to stop thinking about it in that sort of positive, communal way is to look at numbers and to look at play counts and to look at follower counts and to look at Instagram engagement and that kind of shit. And that shit, honestly, when I think about it, I start to go insane, and not in a positive way, like anxious, depressed, not doing stuff. I think people really don't take into account how mentally taxing it can be when your entire month-to-month existence depends on some of those things. If you get too caught up in it, it will drive you insane. And that's worse than burning out on drugs and stuff like that, because you're just overwhelmed. And I've definitely been close to that in the past. Now I feel like I'm in a very good place with how I deal with my interaction with this idea of being a figure. But I think a good way to deal with it is to partially remove yourself from it and not be thinking of how can this benefit me on a personal material level, which is when most people get into these, I can hit up all these Instagram models, or I can get all these free drugs, or I can get, blah, blah, blah. I can get instead of what can I give?
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah. No, dude, I think that's definitely truth, man. A lot of people need to see that or hear that.
Hopefully. I don't know. And, I'm an imperfect man myself, but it helps to articulate the things that I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So you're minimalistic or no?
I'm trying to be more.
Because it sounds like you're going.
I'm trying.
That stoicism.
Yes. Mentally, yes. Is I've always been very much a fan of existential philosophy, but I think this is just my understanding of a philosophy that is a very broad subject, right? Uh-huh. Is that sometimes existentialism can lead to more anxiety and stuff when your entire goal is goal oriented, I will only feel happy if I have this many songs out or this many followers or things like that. Mm-hmm. Then you're always chasing this thing. And then what happens when you get to it? You're like, oh, fuck, I need something new.
It moves.
It moves. The goalpost moves, but you never get there. You never get to a point where you're like, okay, this is good and I'm happy. You're always seeing that happiness is right beyond that next goal. And that, to me, was always what I embraced about existentialism, is that life, we make our own meanings. There is no, life is a fucking mess. Nothing means anything. Things can happen at random. There's no God, et cetera, et cetera. You have to decide what is important in your life and create meaning out of that. And so I was like, okay, well, I want to just make a ton of music and put out a ton of music and be that guy. And then it was always moving, even though I would feel satisfied because I was creating a lot, I didn't feel happy. And I always felt a little like stressed out.
And it starts
extremely stressed out.
And the old goals that you hit start to numb out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore.
Exactly. But when I started to reassess that and say, like, what is it that I enjoy about this, and why exactly am I doing all this? Like, because I could work a 9 to 5. Everyone could do that, or you could do something else. Like, what is it that matters here? And to me, it's like, it's just sitting down in my house with my cats and making music and listening to music. And that's something I really enjoy, and I'm really glad that I can share that. Or playing shows. I fucking love playing shows. I hate traveling. I hate flying. Fuck every airline indiscriminately, except
Delta.
Rest in peace. No, fuck Delta, man. Fuck Delta. The amount of times I don't need to go on that rant. Every
Delta.
DJ will agree with every bit of that. And if they don't, they're like, oh, well, you know, I've got gold on American Airlines. American Airlines has fucked me so many times. Like, man. Virgin, before they were purchased by Alaska, pretty good. They had those light up lanes in the airplane. And question, why is there fucking hospital lighting on every major U.S. airline? It's like the intense white fluorescent, like I guess we would use it for this too, but like you're on a plane. We're not in the operating room. No one's having a heart attack. No one's having open heart surgery right now on the plane. Why? Why not some softer reds, some LEDs, something to make you feel secure?
Warm lights?
I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, Virgin did that essentially. And like, do you have mood lighting like in your house, in your bedroom, or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like
better.
Yeah, right? Because you can kind of
I
control.
accidentally put a couple white bulbs in like my bathroom. It changed everything. I was like, I gotta get rid of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I spend so much time flying. It's something really minor, I guess, that completely infuriates me. That it wouldn't affect their ticket sales. It would probably improve them. That was a draw for Virgin, that they were like a different airline somewhat, you know?
Yeah.
And also all my dealings with them, whenever I had a canceled flight or a missed flight, they were very, very cool about everything and very easy. I had one, like recently, like with United, I had a whole flight canceled. And then they still took like the change fee over for like booking a new flight. And I was like, what the? I got it back, but it took me like hours of on the phone bitching at people like, dude, why are you just like stealing my money? I didn't receive your product or anything. I didn't take the flight. Flight was canceled.
Yeah.
And then booking the new flight, they were like, oh yeah, we know you paid like $300 for this, but we're gonna, charge you an extra $200 there. Like, dude, like, no.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Fuck the airlines.
Airports are crazy.
Yo, Alex, what time we running?
We're about a minute 15. I'm sorry, an hour.
A minute 15. I was like, God damn, that was a long minute 15.
Long minute.
Sweet, dude. I like this one. This one's going all over the place. That's
Yeah.
what I like, man.
Oh yeah.
I think-
I'm a fucking slay dinner parties,
No,
man.
interesting. No, I thought that was a lot of good topics here. So a couple things. One, we're gonna do a quick giveaway. We'll do at the end. Two, I'm gonna do a little lightning round.
Okay. Yeah.
Asking random
Perfect.
questions. I want to actually ask you a lot of like your favorite production plugins and shit like that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I'm
let's-
saying?
yeah.
All the sauce, and then and what was the other thing? Oh, and then I also want for you to go ahead and give a plug to the entire Cymatics audience. So like,
Yes.
what do you want them to know? You got upcoming
Oh,
releases. Go
yeah.
follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter would be great. We have an EP, hopefully that's going to come out in the next few weeks. We're still getting the paperwork all gone. And then also we have a collab with Little Texas that comes out on Heavyweight Records at the end of July. That's a slapper. That's a big boy. And what else?
And the IG.
Yeah, Instagram, Luca Lush.
Sounds like your Twitter's more fun though.
My Twitter is more fun, but we're using Instagram more too. But yeah,
Cool.
we don't. We don't have the new tour announced yet. I wish I could plug that, but we haven't.
It's all good.
in
Go
the
check.
fall.
They'll see there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Global Dance Fest. If you're in Colorado, I will be at Global Dance Fest.
Dope. Check
So,
them out. All
that'll
right,
be
guys.
sick.
And the giveaway is simple as always. We're going to give away 5 $100 gift cards. All you have to do is comment your favorite part of the podcast in the comments, and timestamps always help us.
Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe notification, that little bell down there. Give that bad boy a ring.
Yeah, and subscribe to PewDiePie. No. And subscribe to PewDiePie. Anyways, we're going to cut to the audio only for the lightning round.